All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Make sure you check out Pig in a Pickle. Two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, Dane Brugler, one of the best draft analysts, did a great breakdown on Dee Winters, the Niners linebacker, rookie linebacker out of TCU. Let's talk a little bit about Winters, who I think is going to be involved in an incredible battle for a roster spot this summer. So Dee Winters is an inside linebacker who played at TCU. Undersized guy, 5'11", 227 pounds. His real name, D, is short for Demonderick. Demonderick, D-E apostrophe M-O-N-D-E-R-I-C-K. Demonderick Winters is D's full name, and they call him D for short. And he's a Texas kid. He grew up in Brenham, Texas, went to Burton High School, and was kind of the big fish in a small pond. I mean, Burton High School is a tiny little school. His graduating class in high school had 27 students in it. So, I mean, very, very small school. He was a 4-year high school varsity letterman at Burton High School, two-way player, played running back and wide receiver on offense, and then played it all on defense, linebacker, corner, safety on defense. Even punted. This guy, if Mitch Wishnowsky can't punt, maybe they'll go to Dee Winters, because Dee Winters actually did punt in high school as well. And district MVP there in Texas as both a sophomore and as a junior. Second team All-State as a senior. So he got recognized as a great player despite the fact he was playing for a small school. And, you know, you're talking about a guy who was when you look at his high school career, had almost 5,000 total yards, 4,943 total yards, and 74 touchdowns in his high school career. So he did it all. He was like the best player on the team. He also was on the basketball team and was the point guard. He ran track and field. He was a center fielder on the baseball team. In fact, he was second team All-State as a center fielder on the baseball team. So this is a tremendous all-around athlete, Dee Winters. And the great Gary Patterson, who's a terrific recruiter, recruited him to TCU, to the Horned Frogs, and he became a linebacker full-time once he showed up at TCU. And this year got invited to the Senior Bowl. What a career he had at TCU. 246 tackles at TCU and 12 and a half sacks. And, man, when you watch him, you can see he's a small linebacker, right? He's 5'11", 225. They list him at 227. And the speed is off the charts, 4.49 speed. So he's got really good speed. I mean, you're talking about anything sub 4.5 is really cooking when you're talking about somebody who's close to 230 pounds. Now, I don't care if you're a running back or a linebacker. You're 230 and you're running in the sub 4.5. That's cooking. So 4.49 speed, and he's got great quickness as well. 1.54 was his 10-yard split. That's a really good number. And then if you never saw this kid and you only saw him against Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl, best player on the field. He was the Fiesta Bowl defensive MVP. In that game, he had a 29-yard pick six. He was shooting gaps. He was good against the run. I mean, this guy's a terrific run blitzer. And even if it's not even a design blitz, this is such a smart, cerebral player that when, he's so much in his cut up film, he's so much in his playbook, he's so much, in his formations, that when he sees it, there's no hesitation. I mean, none. We asked him, hey, did they utilize you as a blitzer? And he's like, no, they didn't. So what we saw there in that Fiesta Bowl defensive MVP game where he had the pick six was not him as a run blitzer. It was him just being decisive based on film study, formation, and reading the mesh point. I mean, we saw Dee Winters sprinting into the backfield and making play after play after play in the backfield against the run. And what I loved about it is he goes low. I mean, you're talking about 5'11", 230, this hyperactive, fast guy who shoots a gap and then goes low and knocks you off your pins. So, I mean, a lot to love when you watch Dee Winters. He was the team captain at TCU. He was a 3-year starter. You know, and then you watch him play and you say, you can see that 4.4 speed. I mean, they list him at 4.49. I think he may even play a little faster than that on film. I mean, he really is moving. So very fun player to watch. Led TCU in tackles for loss in 2022. Just a really, really good player. When he brings the hammer, he knocks you down. This guy hits with power. They're bigger linebackers, but this guy can generate speed, and then he can translate speed to power as well as anybody I saw all year. So he hits you like a truck. Started every game over the last 3 seasons. What does that tell me? It tells me he loves to play, because you don't play every game if you don't love to play. Guys take games off all the time. Not if they love to play, they don't. You know, if they love to play, they don't take any time off at all. And this guy started every game the last 3 seasons. And when you look at how many times, there was big contact and how many tackles he made, don't tell me he didn't have a bruise or contusion of some kind, or some malady, some pull, some nagging quad. He just went out there and played anyway. So love that. To me, that's one of the things I always look for. This guy does it on special teams, which is key for the Niners, because to start his career, he's probably going to have to play special teams. He's a punt return. He was on the punt return team for the Horned Frogs. He was on the punt coverage unit. As far as negatives, there are some negatives. I mean, he only had 30.5-inch vert. That was the lowest among all the linebackers in Indy. So he doesn't have the lower body explosiveness that ideally you'd love to see. But what a player. What a player. This guy played played the Sam linebacker spot in Joe Gillespie's 3-3-5 scheme and was great. I mean, just incredibly productive. Sees what he needs to see pre-snap and doesn't hesitate. Just absolutely fires. Shoots through gaps, can get himself, can make himself skinny going through small gaps, gets into the backfield and wreaks havoc. Now, it's not like he's a perfect football player. There's going to be some issues. This is not a player who's going to stand up to guards. If he's going up against a guard, he's going to get engulfed. We saw it a little bit. There's at times you see him get engulfed by the big linemen on the in the run game between the tackles. So that stands out. Doesn't have awesome lower body power. As I said, he if you force him to take on a guard, he's probably going to lose. Right? He's not going to beat guards. This guy's going to beat you with instincts and speed. He's an excellent player in space. I think for the 49ers, he's going to compete for a roster spot this summer with Curtis Robinson and Oren Burks and Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles. I expect Winters to make the team and play a big role on special teams, and then eventually to transition from special teams to playing from scrimmage. I think in year 2, you're going to see a much better player than year 1, because I think he'll work on that lower body explosiveness. I think he'll get stronger. He'll get faster. He'll get in better shape. He'll learn the defense. He'll show up in year 2 flying. But if he just brings that 4.49 speed and the quickness, the instincts, he's going to be just fine. The one thing that you rarely see the running back or the linebacker who has great instincts come into the NFL and just fall apart, because instincts are a big part of it. And this guy's got incredible instincts. So sub 4.5 speed, production for days, great instincts, the ability to play special teams. I can't wait to see Dee Winters this summer in Santa Clara. All right, appreciate all of you. Hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueg Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krueg Show on YouTube.